of the latest, talking about the latest few demos and stuff that I've mixed for our new plugin, MINDst Drums. I'm gonna show the plugin. I'm gonna show it in the context of mixing. I'll open up some tracks. This is gonna be interesting. I wonder how this is gonna work. Hopefully, people are going to join us soon, and I'm going to play some music while this is happening. This is a mix of one of the demo tracks that we made. It's called "Purple Giant." Let me play this. Yeah. Hopefully, looks like a few people are joining me. So again, my name is Eyal. For those who are not on like my personal feeds, I'm the co-owner of a company called Modalix, along with my partner Olo Bianico. I'm also a member of the band Project RNL and known for my music stuff, but also for my programming stuff, my developments. And this is our latest release, MINDst Drums. And this track, I'm gonna be opening a bunch of tracks today and just like analyzing the mixes and analyzing, what the plugin does and why we think it's cool. Um, if somebody here can tell us on the chat if the sound is good, that would be nice, so that I'll know that the voice comes out okay, the mix comes out okay. Um, so let's see what happens here. This is a track that was composed by Mike Melian, who's an amazing drummer. He played drums on the track. He composed it and then he recorded it with a V drums kit and used MINDst Drums as the sound source. And then he played also the keys, and then we added overdubs for the bass and guitar. He had like his initial like guide for it, and then we edited. I'm gonna just break down some of the tracks. Let's hear it a little bit. I'm gonna play, for example, just the bass and drums here, just because it sounds so nice. So let me solo on this, and then solo on the bass. Let's hear it just like this. So much fun. So let's go over a bit what's happening here. So the way I did this, I usually like to mix in multi-out, so the sound of MINDst Drums can come in stereo, but I like to get very detailed about the mix. So what I did was I used one of the multi-outs presets here called All Mics. That's like a feature that when I get it, I get all the different microphones in the mixer. So if I'll open the Cubase mixer here, I'm gonna play this again, and let's get the bass out of there for a second. Just solo on the drums, and go back to the Cubase mixer. Always hate window management. So let's see what happens here. Oop, let's move this away. Here they are. Look at all my drums, right? So I literally get like all the different microphones. And I've been mixing it just like I would with a real drum kit. Like I have, I have a channel strip. I have the CLA mix-up plugin on almost every track, which is nice because it's a plugin that I was involved in. And then I have like a bunch of groups later. There's some microphones that are currently not in use. They have a bunch of groups, like a group for the snare, a group for the kick, a group for the cymbals, a group for the toms. And those will get like different sends for the reverbs and stuff. So let's play the individual tracks coming out of MINDst. This is pretty cool. So let me just loop on like a bar or something, just so that, or I know, let's pick a groove here. Grid. The groove's pretty happening here. Let's hear it all the way from here. By the way, for those Project RNL followers who are listening to this is the exact same kit that's used in a lot of Project RNL tracks. It's Doron Giat's custom DW kit. It was used in tracks we recorded with Jordan Rudess and was used pretty much in a lot of tracks we've done. It's one of the best sounding kits in the world, in my opinion. Using like everything is like custom in there, and the cymbals are custom. Like it's a very, very high end kit. Anyway, let's just play this chunk, so we'll have some loop happening. Okay, and I'm going to remove this. I'm going to listen to just the kick. This is as a bunch of processing here, right? So I'm gonna maybe bypass some of it just so that we'll get some. So I'm gonna remove this group processing. I'm gonna remove the individual channel processing. Let's see. So I'll just open this. I'll see. Here it is, all the different tracks. So let's go to like something like here. Let's bypass this. Bypass this. So this is just a raw sound, right? So this is like the kick in mic. It's just in the kick. This is the kick out. Notice that it has some bleed from the snare coming, and that's intentional. That's how it was recorded. If you go to the mixer in MINDst, which I'll talk a lot about later, you can actually control that. So I can go to the kick, click the bleed mixer, and I see the bleeds as they come out. So I can say, hey, I don't want bleed in the kick, right? And here it is back. You can kind of hear it in like the background. So much fun. So this allows us quite a lot of control. So this is the kick in and out. There's also a condenser. I'm not sure if the condenser is used in this track. No, I think it's not used in this mix. But let's hear it just for fun, even though it's not in use. What's going on with this? Where did I mute it? I muted it probably somewhere. Oh, maybe it's muted in here. Yeah, here it is. So this is the kick condenser. It also has a bit of bleed, and it's got a bit of room to it. Mute this. And we also have the sub. The sub, I don't know if you're going to hear this. The sub is actually a synth that adds like a subwoofer. Only if you have a good listening system, you're going to hear this. And with the whole thing, let's bring back the processing. So these are the three mics combined, or the two mics in the synth, and I have some extra processing on the kick group to push it even more, just because I like this kind of stuff. Nice. Let's go to the snare. The snare is the same thing. In the snare, I have 4 different mics. One I have not used in the track. So let's hear them. Let's do the same thing. Let me bypass this, bypass this, bypass this. and bypass the overall group as well. So I'll go to the snare here. We got the snare top. This is just a raw sound, and you can see how much bleed happens in there, right? And same here. I can control this. So let's hear the bleed like way up. I literally can have the entire kit mixed just with this bleed mixer because it's so much fun to get like the reaction of everything into the snare. If I'm going to bring up the snare bottom as well. Check out just the bottom. There's so much bounce from the kick in this thing. I love this. And the condenser, that thing is mixed pretty low. It's also got some nice like live room vibe in this. Let's hear the whole thing with group processing. Oh, remove my solo, of course. So the whole thing with reverbs and stuff. Kind of a weird loop I made. I don't know why I picked that loop position. So yes, there's quite a lot you can do to make this thing sounds good. Like if you're like me, you like to get deep in the mixing. There's let me show you a little bit of some other things happening here before I'll move on to another song. This is one of my favorite things, by the way, about this plugin is the way that if you use a lot of like dynamics on the snare with ghost notes, it's so expressive. Check this out. Hear this expressiveness with the soft snare. Like I love that we have this. Like a lot of plugins, will have like something that only sounds good when you like hammer it with the high velocities or it's very specific. Here, this like this, I don't know, this huge dynamic range that Jerome recorded in this kit. I think it sounds pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna switch to another song. Hopefully the streaming setup is not gonna make my computer go crazy. So I'm just gonna close this. And ooh, that's nice. Let's open a song that's more switch to this. How do I make this full screen again? Never mind. Let me switch to a song. It's more rocking. Switch to let's go here on our grooves, mixes. Here you go. This is gonna be fun. Mix 5. I think that's that. Who knows? These are heavy, by the way, because I've been torturing these mixes, especially on the processings. Like there's I usually use like FabFilter and Waves plugins, and I push them on every channel. It's a lot of fun. So let's listen to this. Let's hope this will play. Yes, this is gonna play. Let's see what this thing does. This is my debug window. Let's get the hell out of this. Okay. I love this track. I don't know why. I love this. It makes me so happy. So this is a track that we made. There's a video for it which we posted a little while ago, and the idea is, let me do something like this. Maybe this is nicer. Okay, so the idea was that this was a session that Or and Duran is the our a really good friend of ours, an amazing drummer, and also the recorder of the samples of the kit. And both of them, they just did a live session in the studio. I was there as well. And what we did was we were trying to like bounce around styles. We're like, hey, let's do something in this style, in this style, in this style, and then we'll record them on an electronic kit with MINDst drums. And our rehearsal was just, was so much fun because we were just like being inspired. We were like, hey, let's do something, or would just throw out riffs. Sometimes I would go to my piano and, add some ideas or just like kind of produce the session. And it was very, very improvised. Like it was very much like, hey, here's this riff, here's this idea. Duran like would bring all his like stylistic influences. He's a very multi-style drummer, and he's so deep in how he captures it. And he would do stuff like say, or we would do stuff like say, hey, let's do something in the style of Motown. So there's a Motown track. I'll go over there in a bit. Or let's do something in the style of like this more like kind of a hybrid of like, I don't know, Soundgarden, Led Zeppelin, something. And and we were just trying to challenge ourselves to writing this. We actually wrote, I want to say, 11 songs in the same session, which is kind of amazing. They're all pretty short; they're all 1 minute, but some of them are pretty spicy. So let me show you what this sounds like. Right, just the drums. I think the bass on this a little bit. There's a bass. This thing is so much fun. So so the idea is I mean, this track is pretty straightforward. It's rocking, but it's just so much fun for me to listen to. There's so much feel in how Duran and Or approach these riffs. There's so much like grit in this. So and the bass. Let me just talk about a little bit about the bass here because it's fun. So when I mix the bass, there are actually 3 tracks on the bass. It's the same performance, but I duplicate it so that I'll have fun mixing it. And here's what I do. So one of my tracks, I can see all the entire names. They should read. Oh, here it is. Bass sub, right? So bass sub. If you can hear this. So I use this plugin, one of my favorite plugins lately. It's called Supermodel. And Supermodel is like one of the best sounding filters in the world. It's by Polyverse. And I got this to like generate a sub. So I'm using some drive and some low pass filter. Right, this is it's still the original. This is the clean bass. Right, I just made it into a subwoofer. And I did this so that each bit of the bass would have its own like character. So one channel is this. This is like the clean channel. This is with the sub. And this is another channel which is just a drive. This is the whole thing together. And by the way, these are like some Alon, Alon Tamir, our good friend from Project RNL. He added some guitars in this. This it's just so much fun. Like this is like his rhythm guitar, which is a duplicate of the bass. Right, and then he added some, like, he calls this guitar ambient tracks. Let's hear this. I'm gonna bring this up because it's a good track. So I don't know why I put it so low in the mix. Let's hear it with this thing higher up. Another one here. And of course, I love this wah wah thing. Yeah, so this is like I just love the sound of this track, and the way this was done is that Orr actually produced the sound for this. He gave me this preset that was pretty much the sound, like it was really ready, and what I did, unlike the previous track, what I did was that I just used the multi-out group setting. There's a setting in MINDst where gotta get my debug window out of there. There's a setting where you set the multi-out. You click multi-out here. So there's a setting to get stereo, groups, all mics. In most tracks I use all mics because I love this like extra control. But here I used groups because the processing that Orr did, I'll play this to you in a second. The processing he did from the MINDst mixer was just so on point that I had to just use it as is. And let's hear what he does with just the processing he got from MINDst itself. So just gonna remove the reverb too for a second and hear this dry. I think it still sounds good. It's dry. So we'll just listen to let's just listen to the snare track. Or I'll just mute these so they won't come back to me. Yeah, let's do that. And then I'm just gonna hear the snare. And I'm just gonna remove the processing I've done, which is very, very just what I do. I add more highs, right, and compressed a little bit. Maybe I added a bit more low mid. But if you just hear what Orr did, first of all, check this out. The snare track has like the song in the bleed, right? You hear the kick in there? So if we'll go to the mixer here. So it's almost like the live music already happens. It's almost like a drummer playing just because it's got so much bounce from the snare track. I can get this off and just hear snare, right? It's not so real. Let's do this. I think it's really, I like this way of mixing. It makes me feel like I'm mixing, a real drummer. It's not like mixing, something that's like synthesized drums, which is a lot of the feeling that I had with other plugins. And look at what Orr did in this thing. Like, I'm just going to remove the effects that he used. So this is the original snare. Let me add them back. So rocking. So here's what he did. He actually added drive to the snare to make it more pump. Like, look at this. So this is without the drive. This is with the drive. The drive is actually parallel, right? So it's if I would put it all the way up, how much is this? 12. If I put it all the way up, it's gonna kill the snare. It's gonna be super overdriven. But because he just did it something like 12%, Let's save this under a different name because I'm a bit OCD about this. Oh, I just realized I don't see my effect window. Put this so you'll see it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so here's what I was doing. This is the drive that he was using. It's here on the channel, and bring up the compressor and EQ. There's an EQ here. You can. I think he didn't do much with the EQ, but he did do with the compressor. So let's see. So the compressor really gets into this thing. I can make this, less hard rocking, I guess. The more I add the mix, so much punch on this, and you get all this punch because I think because the attack is really really slow, so the punch just go through completely, and only then you hear a lot of the compression. Like if I would have the attack really fast, and the snare sounds all of a sudden small, but now it's like this, so much power. I have the snare track, like with the drive and the compressor that Orr did when he was working on it. It's just like everything comes to life just with that, even without the extra stuff that I was adding. And I've just pushed it a bit more so that it will be even, I guess, bigger. But even without it, this is just the plugin processing. So good. Same thing with the kick, right? Let's hear the kick that Orr did. So this is just the processing from the plugin. Look at how big this sounds. From the snare back. Right? I think I barely did any processing of this. Look at this. There's some parallel drive again. It's just a little bit, but it's so much without drive. Sounds too mellow, right? I just like this track. And the cool thing about this plugin is that you can go really deep into like the mixing area of it, but just the sound, if you're just passing MIDI through it, like like we've done, it just feels so good. Like a lot of the intricate things we're doing are actually internally in the engine, like pick the right reactive articulation when you play fast snares or something. And a lot of what you want to do is just find a good mix that works for you, and kind of calibrate the sound. But because the sound is so dry and so detailed, has so much detail in it with the microphones and stuff, it's so easy to be particular about the result, right? Let me show one of the other tracks. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Right. So I just get a question from Rodrigo about the drums are MIDI. Yes. So this is there's actually a video of us of the actual performance on our like YouTube or Instagram or something, on the Modalics Instagram or YouTube, where you see Orr and Doron jamming this. Like Doron is using a VDrums kit. Here's the MIDI. Here it is. Let me open this. Right. So let's see this. Here's the MIDI. Just hear it in solo because it's fun. They still have this muted. Yeah, let's get the reverbs back. And yeah, let's do this. So you notice here on the bottom, there's all these controller events. These are Duran's Hyatt controller, the foot controller, which uses to determine how open and closed this is. Um, let me hear some other track. This is just fun. Yeah, so here I see Alexei's comment here. Alexei is actually one of our very valued beta testers, and he's right. Well, first of all, this is recorded with a, or I'll say first what he says because probably you don't see it on all the channels. But anyway, he says that we should improve our support for V-drums or for different E-kits to be specific, and he's right. So that because we just launched this, we couldn't test with every possible V-drums kit, but all the tracks that I'm showing today were actually recorded with a Roland TD50. So there's a built-in preset for that if you have that kit. And you can configure the preset really well. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a bunch more presets and calibrations for different kits once we know which ones people are using and which ones are more popular and stuff like that. But the TD50 works really well. Like this is just using the preset of the TD50. Which wasn't around in the early beta stages, but it's here now for release now because we recorded a few songs with it and we have a good idea of how it responds like. And the different controllers are kind of interesting because there's different like MIDI mappings in each one, and the notes are a bit different, and sometimes you need like a different curve to respond to each trigger. So it's definitely something we're working on, but this is like a good example of how this would work if you have a compatible kit, like if you or a preset that's compatible. Let me show something else. Let me show you. Let's go back to myself for a second. Here I am. Hello. I'm hoping people enjoying this. I'm just having so much fun listening to these tracks. By the way, all these tracks are on our SoundCloud, and we'll upload them to YouTube and stuff. It's really a bunch of fun tracks. Okay, so let's hear this one. This is definitely a favorite of mine. I'm actually playing keys on this one as well. This track is called Jack's Arrow, which is a homage to one of the people this was inspired by, which is Joe Dart from Wolfpack. I don't know if people like that band. Or and I are like just big, huge fans of this band. They do this blend of, funk and even like 60s, 70s music and pop, and it's just so beautiful, everything they're doing. So this is a bit of a homage to like some of the stuff they're doing. So Naor asks how this is live and there's commentary or subtitles. I don't know. Are there subtitles? If they are, they're like probably AI generated or something. Uh, this is completely live as far as I know, unless I got back from from the past to tell myself what is being said in the chat. Anyway, so this track, I said it's called Jack. This track is called Jack's Arrow, and let me play this. I love the sound of this track a lot because this is another one that was recorded on this session with Or and Duran. But I love that this one is so dynamic, like this one, and I love the low end of these dynamics here because this is one of these things that's very hard to get with electronic drums. Like usually they're either like super pumping, or they're like very kind of flat, soft. Let's hear this. Let's just hear the drums. Look at the MIDI here. I just love this thing here where he plays with it, and then he plays with the side stick, and then there's this little, very small, snare kind of roll. It's so much fun that we can get this in a plugin, just like these soft, very accurate rolls. I love this, and let's hear this a bit with the bass. There's 3 tracks on bass, just like the previous thing that I've shown. I'm gonna try to tweak something here just because I got this note from Or saying that I can maybe tweak the audio settings here. Can I even do that while I'm streaming? I had auto gain control, so maybe that's why there's some ducking. I hope it's not too bad. Hopefully it's going to stop now. Let's try this again. I need to enable this and go back. So Rodrigo says that the plugin isn't free. No, unfortunately, it's not free. It's something we sell on our site. But there's a Black Friday deal happening now. So you can look at that if you want. It's on modalix.com. Oh, this is cool. Iran asks me about so Iran asked me 2 things. He asks about gain staging and about can I bring down the velocity to hear how the drums sound, like hear it softer. Yeah, for sure. And in fact, I think I did this here. And so one of the things I did when we first recorded this was using switch back this. So we recorded this doing like a beta version of the plugin, and a lot of the things were not totally calibrated. So one of the things that ended up happening was that I think Duran had to play a bit louder than he wanted to because some of the velocity settings weren't like 100% correct. So what I did only in this track, I don't think I did this in any of the other performances, but here, because we want to get some more dynamics, I think if I'll go to where's the MINDst channel? here. So let's go here. Get away debug window. So what I did was I actually lowered the velocity curve. Like, let's hear the full curve of how it was played. So it's a bit more hard hitting than he wanted. And what we did was that we took this velocity curve a bit down. Still happening. Let's get rid of the bass for a second. There's the bass. Okay, so this is super soft. Can't even go softer, but at some point it's gonna sound weird. It's like this, almost the softest velocity. And I can also curve this. So I can curve the velocity so that, for example, it's like this, and it takes more effort to get to the max. So here's with the bass. Well, I just maybe it's because this was half screen. This is the control I'm dealing with. It's just like the velocity curve, right? So this will make it, be like full range. But if I take this down, all dynamics come up. Now I'm going to curve this a bit. Maybe have a higher top and make it harder because of the curve. Make it harder to reach top velocities, right? But I can also do the other way around. I can say it so that it has the full range, but easier to hit the harder velocities. For this track, I think this is nice. So one of the nice things about the way this sounds is like it almost sounds like, I don't know if you know these guys, Wolfpack. I'm just such a fan, and this gets closer to the way the drummers they use, like Nate Smith and these kind of drummers sound, because it's so groovy and so tight, but it's lower velocity, and it's not lower velocity in a way where it's like loses the precision. It's still a lot of groove and funk in this. Let's get a bit lower. So Iran also asked me about gain staging. So I'm gonna undo a few of the things that I've done, and I can let's just go back to the track the way it was, because I probably messed with like a bunch of tracks here. I'll just close this. Not gonna save. Close, don't save, and I'm just gonna load this thing back. So I mix this as multi out, and I'm gonna show a little bit of how the process of the mix went. All right. Okay, so I'm back to the mix the way it was. Let me save this under a new name so I'll feel more comfortable. Let's call this, live. Just so that I'll have some more confidence when I'm tweaking stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? Okay, so I'm mixing this in all mics mode. So that means that when I'm opening the plugin, I can click here and switch to all mics, and that means I get like the full detail, right? I like the full detail. I don't know why. There's no real reason for this. You can totally get a good mix from using groups. Like that's probably the easiest way, like I showed before. But I don't know, something about this, maybe because I'm used to working like this. It kind of helps me to see out everything and get the different, different mic settings and stuff. So here's what I did. So let's you see I get the different mics: kick out, kick condenser, kick sub. Talked about the snare, so let's talk about the snare a little bit. So this is just a snare mic. And notice how much bleed I left in there. Right? You hear the kicks in there, you hear the hi in there. That's just from the snare mic. If I remove this, right? Let's go to. Let me just fun. Let me have the kick microphones there. So this is just kicks and snare, kick and snare. I'm gonna go to the snare, and I'm just gonna remove the bleed. This is so dead to me. Like it just doesn't work, right? It sounds sampled. Doesn't sound real. If I'm gonna bring these way up. Right? Something about the bleed into the snare specifically just makes the kit come alive. Like the kick comes out with all its harmonics. I can, by the way, manually control just the kick. Let's go back to this. See how dead the kick sounds without it. Right? You hear the kick. It's there. But compared to this, it sounds more like a kick in the room, So that's one thing that I like about this plugin is that you can really go detailed about how how every particular drum sounds, because you can't really do this on a real kit. When if you've ever mixed live kit with microphones, the only way you can control the amount of bleed is if you move the mic. And then if you move the mic, like let's say you have too much bleed of the hi-hat into the snare, you can move the mic of the snare closer, but then you get, the snare sounds different. The snare sounds a bit more dry and close. You bring it further away, then the snare gets fuller and more, more power, but then all the bleed comes back in and it's sometimes overwhelming. So this bleed mixer really lets you get to a sound that's full but still feels alive, feels dynamic, feels like it was actually recorded in a room. Okay, so let's talk about the way I mix this. Let me just loop on some sections so that you can hear the difference. So maybe these 4 bars something. Okay, so this is the full kit. And when I'm looking at sometimes like the kick, here I've used all 4 channels, right? So this is the sub, and if you can hear it, it's very, very low. But let's talk about the condenser. This condenser has like a dry part of the sound, which I really like, compared to the kick in and out that are more classic studio. Let's see this, the out. And what did I do here? I'm using CLA mix up on the out, and on the out I reduced a little bit of like 400, and I added a bit of just like 200, and just I'll took a little shelf so that I'll get this is like the punch area or the click area, so I added a bit of that. I think the kick in is giving me even more of that, like because it's right inside the kick. So in the kick in, I added a bunch of like 8 kilohertz, right, which is this thing, little punch, and I added a bit of low end, and again reduced a little bit of like 300, and combined, right, the kick out is giving me slightly more, I guess, power and rawness. Oh, here's, and the in is giving me all the clarity, right, and along with the condenser and the sub. And same with the snare, right? So, or in this case, the side stick. I think I've used a little bit of the condenser here as well. It's another microphone that has like a lot of like dirt in it. It's not very clean sounding compared to the snare top, this is like more of a like classic, classic studio kit. I think I haven't used snare top 2, but it's also a really good sounding mic. Let's bring that up a little bit. So it's a slightly darker sound. It was a different microphone that was placed really close on the snare. The bottom I am using, even though you don't get a lot of it on the let's hear some part that has actual snare, right? Because then the bottom will get very, very clear. The chorus, right? Okay, so over here, if I'll mix without the snare bottom, it's pretty dry. The bottom, that'll give me all this net. And it's cool because notice this thing. Even if I hear just the kick, can I play some MIDI here? Okay, so this is the kick. I'm just playing my MIDI keyboard. So notice how the kick sounds with and without the snare bottom. Right, the snare is still open. Right, you see the kick goes so much, it just moves the net. It's something that happens in like real life so much, and it's so much fun that I can control this. So much fun. Something else that's of course really important is the overheads. Like we have two sets of mics. One is the overhead and one is the room. Let's hear those. And I mostly kept it mostly dry. All I did was I reduced a bit of low end and a bit of this thing, which was like, I felt like this area was a bit like kind of making my mix sound stuffed. So I reduced that. The, what is this, 270. And I'm mostly using these overheads as is. Right, this without them. Let's remove the room as well. So this is just close mics. Let's bring up the overheads. And let me bring. Let's just hear the room. Love how well this blends, right? This is without the room. Or let's have some overheads in here. Maybe this mix, and then have more room open up. Without the room. With the room. So much fun. So I don't know. I just like this track. I know it's kind of funny when I'm talking about my own tracks, but it's or our own tracks. Like, so after we finish with this, this is my whirly track that I added to this. And here comes the fun bit, because I was not jamming live in the studio, I was playing to the recording. I could add all these little things that respond to what Or is doing. Let me play this to you, like just the bass and the keys. So what I did was I was just picking up on the little things that he did. Like, for example, this fill is Or's fill, right? Daba dabu tapu, right? So I hear his fill, and I just went with it. Right, so just these little things that were fun to do because he was improvising this, right? But I was, I had all the knowledge of like going back, figuring out what he did, and trying to match up with this. Let's see what else. I'm going to show some other track. Let's just one more track. Let's do. First of all, let's my screen. Here you go. First of all, I'm hoping you're enjoying this. I can't read all the chat messages. I think I'm not getting all of them, but this is just a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm just going to open one more track, which is a gent track. Another one by Mike Melian. Where is all my mixes? There they are. Mixes. I think this is it. I think this should be the latest. Maybe. Yeah, this looks better. Hey, look, Ori's here. Maybe we can bring him up. Maybe we can bring him into the chat. Let's see if I can get him with a link or something. My room is flipped. Or knows my room, and I think I'm hoping he means my physical room and not the audio room. So let's see. I'm just explaining or how to join, and he can kind of shed a light about a lot of these tracks. Meanwhile, I'm going to play a track while he joins us. So I'm going to bring back my screen. Okay, you'll see these are funny. This is a gen track, kind of in the style of like Animals as Leaders or something, and the guitar track names kind of give it up. Like the track is called Human Followers. Well, let me just play it. Where's my nice drum track? So this is another one where Alon Tamir just added a bunch of like guitar tracks for this to sound cool. Hope you're ready for this. This is gonna rock. Yeah, I like the song. So it's another one where this is a track that Mike Mellon composed and then or set later and kind of learn his parts, and then Alon learned both of their parts and added all these ideas. I'm going to over some of the tracks here because these sound pretty massive. I just really want Or to join me, so I'm going to do. Okay, so let's hear just the drums first before I'll move more into this. Where do I have? Oh, here it is. So many tracks in this thing. So many tracks, by the way. Most of them are just stuff coming out of MINDst, just because it has a million tracks. It is using the stack symbol here. Oh, here, look at this. Or joined. Let me bring it up.
Hey, am I coming through?
Or you are live. Let me put you on screen for a second.
Are you getting me clearly? Am I coming through?
There you are.
Right. Can you hear what I'm saying, though?
We can't hear you just yet.
Oh, internal. It says internal microphone. 1 second.
I'm going to play some drums while you figure this out. Hey, do we have you?
I'm not sure.
No.
Still no? Because I'm seeing like.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's just on my end. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's on mine. Maybe everybody can hear you, and I'm just like being very stupid.
No, don't worry
yes,
about it.
Yes, I think I'm being stupid. I think you were fine.
Okay.
Can you talk right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody could hear you.
There I am.
I was just like having.
Cool. Oh, cool. I wasn't using any bad words. I swear.
You swear.
I mean, I didn't swear. I swear that I wasn't using any bad words. Let me just change to my loopback setup for a second and let me know if you're still getting me. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Christian is here in the chat. All right.
Never mind. The loopback thing isn't working, but I guess you're getting me okay right now, so we can keep going. Hi.
Yeah.
Listening to you the entire way home. I was meeting a friend. I was listening to your podcast the entire way and enjoying the awesome drum tracks and everything. And the explanations about mixing, which is, I guess, something I learned a lot about developing this plugin is drum mixing. I started out by just having Eyal explain a drum mixer and multi-track drum mixing to me, and I was kind of going cross-eyed at first. Yeah, then we got it going. We got it together.
Yeah, but by the way, I just want I'll give you the proper introduction. This is Or Lubianiker, my partner in Modalix, who's also my partner in Project RNL and other things. I'm guessing, I don't know which channel you're watching this on, but it's very likely that you've you know him and have seen him multiple times before. And yeah, so he's also designed the UI of the plugin and programmed the UI of the plugin and helped. He was both of us were recording the samples like as engineers, and he was running the company and doing pretty much everything else that people are doing when they're Or.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, well, keep going. I get you were just about to play really like one of our favorite tracks from the demo, so keep going, and I'll just enjoy myself and listen and maybe chime in here and there.
Yeah, so I want to play this like just drums and bass because I feel like the bass here is also really killing, and I want to talk a little bit about that as well. So
thank you.
I was trying to be like very very aggressive with the tone here. I guess I was trying to be like trying to match whatever they're doing in modern mixes, and I think Or was trying to match that in his playing style as well. Like check out how
Yeah, just
rocking this thing is.
beating the crap out of my bass.
Right, so it's there's a clean channel somewhere hidden in here. Even that is like really heavily processed by me, but you can see how hard he hits it. And then there's a bass, or a sub channel. This is I've shown this in a previous mix. So I'm using the Polyverse Supermodel, which is a low pass filter. Well, it's a model filter, and it's a bunch of different filters. But I was just using the low pass filter from this to get what I needed, which is to get like a version of the bass that's subby that I can kind of compress separately. Right, this is the sub of the bass. This is with a clean track. This is with the distortion. I love how this.
I think it still might be ducking the music. I'm not sure how everybody is hearing, but what I'm getting is like after a while, your mic. I think maybe if you try muting your mic while you're playing music or something, just because the track keeps decreasing in volume. But I'm not sure
Oh,
if
really?
that's for everybody or just me.
Really? That's interesting. Let's see if I.
I hope it's not like as you can tell, we're fairly new. We'll get better at this, but
I mean, I did turn off
the auto
the
gain
auto
gain
gain.
control thing and the noise suppression.
Yeah. I reduced full. I turned off all of these. I think. Uh, I know maybe I don't know if I have to get out and get
Yeah,
back in.
Christian is approving what I said. Is he's saying it.
That it's ducking.
My guess is just if you mute your talking mic while you're playing the track, it won't do that because it's probably trying to adjust between them or something. I don't know. It's just guessing.
Yeah. So let's try it together. I'm gonna do this right now. So I'm just gonna play the track.
Right.
Did that change anything?
So it played okay, and just towards the end, it started ducking again. So that's
So funny.
yeah.
I think it's possible that I need to. I guess I need to like log out and log back in because maybe I changed the setting while I was streaming.
Were you muting by the RME mixer or the?
Now I'm muted by the RME mixer, and I think
Try the same thing by mute the restream mic. It
that's a good idea. Yeah, let's try that. So
might be because of that. It's like the stupid algorithm they probably have embedded or something.
that is a good idea. Let me try this.
Oh, now it muted all audio. Never mind. I have bad ideas. I'll shut up.
Right. It doesn't really know the difference. Anyway, is it really bad when it's ducked? Like, is it like not listenable?
It's okay because it starts out okay, but then it gets to like a lower volume, and then you kind of have to get used to it at playing at a lower volume. So I don't know, maybe just talk about it in chunks and just play it like 15, 20 seconds at a time.
Yeah. So what I could do is I'm gonna keep you here for a second while I get out and come back in. Hopefully this won't destroy the world.
All right, don't worry, I'll hold the fort. So while we wait for Eyal, if anybody has, it goes down about 12 dB. Thank you very much. That's a very accurate and helpful measurement. So as you can see, I have some water here. That's always good. Stay hydrated. And if you guys have any questions about MINDst, now would be a good time until Eyal is back. I can try and answer whatever you guys want to know. It's been quite a ride trying to develop this. It's been like a dream of ours for, I guess, like the past decade. Ever since we started plugins, we always were kind of looking at each other going like, yeah, drums is the thing to do. But then it looked like a monumental task at first, and bass was right there. And actually, this is the bass that we sampled for, not this one was the bass we sampled for Bass Fingers and Slapper. This is what started our entire journey here that led to MINDst drums. And actually, this bass is the one you heard on the progressive metal track Eyal just played, the one I recorded. It's a Dingwall. It's beautiful, massive sounding basses. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, Jordan's presentation was incredible. I mean, everything he does is top notch. Let me just see here. Is he waiting for me to do something? Alami would like to share. You can add them as a guest here. Now I have the power.
Yeah, I'm here. So,
I just didn't know I needed to add you as a guest, but do I need to surrender control somehow?
no, this is fine. This is fine. Let's see if what I did was making a difference though on the audio. Are you ready?
Really soft vocals.
I'm going to play something and see what happens.
Okay. Sounds great, but everything is soft.
Everything is
Both you speaking and the music, everything needs to go up like 12 dBs.
okay. That's easy. That's easy. The bring up is something I know how to do.
Great. Now say something.
Hello, hello. I am
Sounds good.
talking.
Sounds good. Sounds great.
You see, why didn't I have you before when I was talking for the previous hour?
I mean, I was driving. I'm sorry. No, but it was okay somehow in the Jack's Arrow when you played the track. I guess it wasn't loud enough for the algorithm thing, the ducking thing to work. Everything sounded great in Jack's Arrow. It just came
Ah.
through all right, because I guess it was like more of a relaxed level than this crazy track.
I bet there's something in the algorithm that says, it's like if it's metal, reduce everything.
Especially prog.
Especially prog metal or something.
Also, all the music was suddenly in 4/4s, and everything was like 1/4, first, fourth, fifth on the chords. Sounded really weird. All right, now we can get into the track. I'll shut up now.
Oh yeah, sure. So so this track, I'm gonna bring back my screen. There it is. Let's do one of the things. Okay. So we talked a bit about the bass here, and one of the things that I was trying to do with the drum sound. I'm gonna play the drums for a second. This is, by the way, intentionally without any reverb. So when I saw the reverbs are off. Let me play this to kick and snare. So this is intentionally with no overheads or anything, and one of the things that I was trying to achieve is that I wanted to have something that's where the kick and snare mics in this particular track, where the kick and snare mics are basically the mix, even though there's the overheads and other stuff are open. So first of all, there's just like we've shown previously, there is some bleed happening here. I'm gonna close the bleed for a second. There's bleed on the snare, there's bleed on the. Right. So that sound to me, this is closer to what a lot of modern gent sounds like in a way that I don't like. I guess I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying. Or did I mute you or did you mute you?
No, no, I'm just
Oh,
listening. If
okay.
you want me to chime in, you can
Oh,
address
yeah.
me at any time. I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
breakdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm getting what you're saying. So a lot of the modern approach would be to have a very close mic'd sound, and it's like the hits are always very in your face, like everything hits you on the nose, but then there's this big wide open reverb kind of space behind it. And this track is something I like about the mix you made here is the fact that the drums still sound kind of very much live and tracked, let's call it, as much as possible, because you incorporated bleed mics and I guess overhead and room mics in a very kind of abundant way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly it. Like I was trying to like let's hear this again. So this is just two mics, right? Once I open overheads here, now there's way more room happening. Oh, I think it also opened the reverbs. Let's get the reverbs off. Get away. This is just like the way Cubase has like soloing rules or something. Anyway, so kick snare, right? And these are the overheads, right? And they kind of complete the picture. I feel like with these mics, you have maybe other than the toms or something, you basically have the kits right there. Let's look at it with the MIDI track. Notice this, everything is red in this, right? This is like really, this is played with the intention to be in a metal track. Whoop, what just happened? Yeah, I'm talking, but the screen is not shown. How long was that happening? By the way, notice that a lot of the snares are actually rim shots, right? So the rim shot articulation compared to the center, that's mostly used for all the different ghost notes, right? So, and this is just like a general pattern programming and playing, I guess, because the centers. I mean, sometimes you want to use a backbeat as a center, but sometimes especially in metal and stuff like that, you need the rim shot as the kind of the outlier of the beat. So this is fun, right? So here it is. So here, Mike switched. Mike is the drummer that played on this track, Mike Melian from the band Monuments. So here he switched to, instead of riding the hi-hat, he switched to riding the stack. So this line here. And we have a close mic of the stack as well. Like when I mix this now it's just muted. So there's a close mic here. There's a channel for the stack. And if I'm gonna bring up this, I have a cymbals group or something. Let's hear that's the cymbals group. There it is. Oh, where's the stack bit? I went too much back. Oh, here it is. Here's a stack. And you can see it kind of sounds pretty dull, right? All I'm using with the close mics of the cymbals, and that's how I would do this in a real mix as well. I'm just taking them to add a little bit of a punch to the overheads and the bleed from the snare. So I'm just gonna, let's hear just the overheads. This is the overheads. And then when I'm adding the cymbals or the close mics, right? It just gives a little bit of a punch, even without it. This is just the overheads, right? You can still hear the stack really well, I think, right? Or I'm not imagining this. It's not just my
Yeah, sorry, I'm also going through comments and stuff and making sure we're getting everybody.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, your attack symbol and the close mic, and then as opposed to the overheads. And
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
really interesting thing you showed me. You were talking about it before, I think, in the context of Jack's Arrow, and the fact that there are some things in a sampler that are not really realistic. So like when you're recording a real kit, you wouldn't really close mic every cymbal. You wouldn't really put a
Yes.
microphone specifically on the stack mic. And then, well, the natural question is, so why do it in a sampler? And that is, there's the age-old joke that ends with because he can. So it's kind of a similar thing, right? Because there might be this additional piece of detail that you want just that piece from the mic, and this also connects to like one of the biggest lessons I think I had when we were developing this as a producer and a mixing guy is what you told me, like the fact that the mic exists doesn't mean you have to use it. It just means like if it contains any sort of character that you can use and you're missing, then just get that. So I guess like the close mic is in that area. So if you don't need it, turn it off. If you find something nice in its character, you can kind of grab that from it.
Yes, exactly. Like the best, the best button in your DAW or mixer or whatever, the best button is the mute button. Like that's a lot of people are scared to use the mute button because, for example, you've recorded drums using whatever 20 microphones, right? And you're like, oh, I have, I paid so much for the studio, of course I have to use the 20 microphones. But it's actually
Yeah.
not true. Like a lot of times in mixes I've done, like the best decisions were like, hey, we've had these 3 microphones for snare. Let's let's just use the one that says this is the bit of the song. And the close miking of the crashes and the stack and the we have 2 rides in this thing and everything. And so let's say this, there are songs where if I had the stack, I would close mic it, because the song, like for example, if I had recorded this song in particular, there's a chance I might close mic the stack just because I know he's riding it, right? He's using it almost as the hi-hat at the point of the song. So it's possible that if we were in a live session with Mike, I would say, hey, for this song, I want the stack, more prominent, because it does help to have a bit more clarity, right? I might
Right.
not do it for every crash, because crashes sometimes are, they're just like almost like sound effects. They're like big and strong, but they're not like the pulse. But in this song, he's using it to write, and I want to use it, but I still want the majority of the sound, and that's true for the hi-hat and the ride and the main groove cymbals. I want them to come from the overheads and from the snare bleed. Like to me, that's where the majority of sound. Like let's hear it again. If I just hear, let me turn off this cymbal stuff. Just so I get kick snare, and I'm gonna add the overhead. Right? Even with the hi-hat part, right? The hi-hat is happening from these mics, right? I have closed.
This is without the hi-hat mic?
Without the hi-hat mic. I'm gonna let me open the hi-hat mic.
You're not showing the screen, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Let me show what I'm doing. Right. Let me open the hi-hat mic. And you'll see that the hi-hat mic does add a bit of like punchiness to the sound, right? This is with the hi-hat mic. This is without it. Right, so the only thing that it adds, let me just hear, there's 2 hi-hat mics. Let me just hear them in solo. You hear what they do? Like
Yeah, it's just this sizzle.
It's just a sizzle. It's just meant so that, like, the only reason why I'm using them is that so that the hit on the hi-hat is a bit more clear, a bit more punchy.
Yeah.
But I don't get the sound. Like the tone is not there. Like I intentionally made the tone of this microphone really small because the tone is really, first of all in the overheads, right? This is just the overheads. Quite a lot of tone in this already, and if I add the snare, I think this is pretty much the way you'd think the hi-hat would sound like, or maybe with the room even, right? And the only reason why we're adding this is that the hi-hat sounds a bit farther away, so I can make it closer by adding or moving this. This will almost like just move the hi-hat more to my ears versus putting it in the room, if it makes sense. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
It's all good.
Yeah. And I know, when you open MINDst, there's something about looking at, and I get it, because this thing has a lot of detail. You open it, and especially if you go to the all mixer, and there's like bunch of stuff, and each one of those has more microphones, and there's a lot of options here. But a lot of times, what you want, is a good balance of. Let me go back to one of the previous tracks that I've shown because it's so nicely made in there. Let's go back to.
I just wanted to jump in and say
Yeah.
thank you to Christian. He just wrote that he bought the plugin, and we really
Oh, wow.
appreciate it. And you're a good friend, and that's it. We love you.
Good friend, genius musician. The whole thing. Like one of the best keyboardists I've ever seen.
Definitely.
Phew. Yeah. I'm getting carried away here. So I want to get back to a song that I've shown when we started, which is I hope it's this song. Yeah. So this is a song called More Jello.
Mm.
It's definitely my. Let me play it again because people are probably not with us from the beginning of the session. So I'll play it again just so that we'll get a sense of what this is.
It's good.
It's good, right? We like this track.
It's still good.
I don't know if you were listening when I was breaking down this track before.
Yeah, I mean for most of it actually.
Oh, okay, good. Because what I was saying when I was explaining this is that this track is where you actually did a lot of the processing just inside of MINDst. And when I switched it to multi-out, all I did was just sometimes I've added a bit like low end or high end stuff and a bit more reverb. But really I've used your processing in the group, and this is again about what we said about when you mix the stuff. A lot of the sound, if I'm just gonna hear this track, and I'm gonna solo on the. Let's remove let's mute the reverbs completely, and just listen to where's this thing. Kick and snare. This is just kick and snare.
So are you using just the group channel? So the individual mic channels are inactive in the mix?
Yeah. Like you can see them just because I've opened them. Like it was in my template.
Can you hide them just for my eyes? That
I can.
it'd be easier for me to kind of
you are correct. Yeah.
Zone in on what's active.
Yeah, I think from here it's not in use. Can I hide them? You should. Yeah.
Maybe hide track pictures.
Yeah.
Hide selected tracks.
Is actually going to hide them?
Yeah, and they're still there. Great. Never mind. Never mind.
Never mind. I've hidden them in the mix console. So if I'm going to go here to here, I think they should be hidden. I think you probably can't hide them from here. I don't know why.
Never mind. I didn't want to interrupt you.
But here you'll you'll see them. I guess more.
No, just also to kind of make the point that while all of these are open just in front of you, you said you're mixing this track with just like 8 stereo channels or something, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
To the group tracks.
Yeah, and it's even 8. I don't think it's even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks. Is like
So basically 7 tracks is what the plugin is sending to the output of the DAW, or basically to the input of a DAW, and then you're just applying processing to these tracks.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, I have a Waves SSL like EV2 channel on each one, and reverb sense, but that's it. Like I was just like cleaning things you know,
So that's it. The entire sound is coming. It's actually the first time I'm seeing the mix because when we're developing this stuff, we work like crazy. We don't have actual time to break things down like this. And Eyal was doing the mixing, and I was doing some video editing, and everything was a big, beautiful mess. So it's the first time I'm seeing that you actually don't have any external processing except some EQing on the tracks, which is
yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because I
It's
think
pretty cool.
the sound, I can even turn this off. Like I've showed this before. Like if I'm just listening to the kick and snare, I mean the sound is still pretty happening. Maybe the snare is soft
Yeah.
because I think maybe I was pushing it a bit more, a bit higher with
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, but the sound is there. The sound is really done with the MINDst internal processing, especially that parallel
Yeah.
drive and the compressor. And it just like I was saying before, like even though even from this, like I don't even have the overheads open, but let me just add them. Right, other than the toms that are not open, pretty much the mix is there, right, with the kick, snare, and I don't even have the hi-hat mic open again. Like I don't have the close mic of the cymbals open. I'm just adding it for
Right.
It's if you'll hear it, you'll see why it is like I'm only adding it for a slight amount of like extra precision. Like let's hear the thing with the hi-hat. This is the hi-hat track. No, you barely hear it because it plays a ride here. Let's somewhere there's a hi-hat.
Yeah, he's just using it on the eighth notes, the closing.
Yeah, just a pedal. Let's hear somewhere where it plays the
Mhm.
hi-hat. Right, this is the hi-hat, but I don't really need it because so much of it has bled into the snare and overheads, right? So, what happened? Okay, there it is. So, this is the hi-hat where it's super loud. Right, it's just there for, I don't know, crunchiness. I don't know how would you define this?
I don't know. In this case, it's more like I'm hearing it like presence because it's not really changing. The proximity effect you showed before isn't really apparent here, like in the progressive metal track.
Mhm.
For me, when you bring it up, I'm just getting like more of the sensation of the hi hat, and unless it's really brought up, and then it's out of context. But for a good while there, between like minus infinity to like minus 10 or even 5, it just gets more of that character in there. But yeah, it's really cool to see that if you consider it, like if we were making this track and these would be the channels that we had, we could actually mix it just the same. So this is kind of what I'm trying to get at is even if you have just overheads and some of the close mics and not like 20 microphones like we recorded this kit, you could produce a killer track like this, and it's very true to life. Like we're giving you this workflow that if you don't want to use a very detailed mic setup, you can use a very like basic mic setup and still get like professional grade results. Like that's the
Exactly.
I'm on baby duty, so I'll log off for a second now, and I'll see if I can be back soon.
All
Okay.
right, yeah, maybe it's
So
time for me to wrap this up anyway. But this is
all right, cool.
yes.
So I'll check if you're here. If you're here, I'll come say goodbye, and if not,
All right.
see you guys.
All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for everybody who joined, who asked questions, who wrote comments. This was great. We were very excited about this plugin and what it can do, and we've recorded so much music with it lately. So hopefully, I can do a couple of more of those to break this down. And that's it. That's it. See you next time, which would hopefully be soon.